Hey everyone, today is actually the first day, and it's taken me a while to decide to do this, to talk to you about grief, because a lot of us are going through it, including me, and I've been going through it for a while. I want to say recently in the last 6 to 8 months, and consistently over a lifetime, when I realized that there was a lot of stuff going on that I needed to grieve. Now, before I get started, what I wanted to say was in this society, we have not been really taught how to grieve or how to help others grieve, because it's taboo, it's dealing with emotions, it's dealing with feelings, it's dealing with things that we don't want to look at. I like to call it also a dark night of the soul. But what I've noticed is that grieving touches every single area, every area of our lives. And so, recently what's been going on in my life is a friend's ex-wife died and of cancer, and we were very close. We were all close. And walking through that was very painful. Because his daughter was involved, and she was 7 at the time that her mom died. And just being there to support them, and then she had died on a Saturday, and then the very next day was the 2-year anniversary of my mother's death. So that's when it all started, because I had also gotten this, I call them downloads, where I was told that I would be helping people with grief. And I was like, okay, well, this was something I've been trying to avoid for quite a while. And apparently that's not what the avoidance is now. Here's the teaching, here's the understanding, here's the help with helping or walking through it myself, helping my friend to grieve, helping his daughter, which is totally different as a child, and understanding what it's about. But the point about grieving is not necessarily about death. This is the other thing that I've learned. The point about grieving can be about a loss. It can be about things that we had planned on doing in our lives that didn't come to fruition. It really could be about anything, but if we're holding those emotions inside of us, the sadness or the anger or any of those emotions that come up, then we're blocking our greatness. And when we block our greatness, we can't enjoy our lives. We start to get anxious and depressed. All these different things start to happen. And life is not joyful anymore. Life is not happy. There's nothing. It just starts we're missing. There's something that feels like it's missing. A whole bunch of different things happen. And even the simplest thing, it could range from, as something as powerfully heartbreaking as death, to something simple like, well, I don't know if this is simple. Like about 2 weeks ago, I bit into a popcorn kernel and I broke my back tooth up here. And guess what? I get to lose that tooth. And I'm still, I'm about to tear up right now, because I've been working so hard my whole life to make sure that my teeth are taken care of. And I obviously, long story short, got a little bit of that from my parents, or my grandmother, and when I was little, when she's always like on me about brushing my teeth, make sure you don't want your teeth to fall out. And I'm like, oh yeah. So that's stuck with me my whole life. But the fact that I'm actually losing a tooth is traumatic for me. It's like, what the heck? Because I've worked so hard, and I've dreaded this moment in my life for a long time. So here it is. I get to deal with that loss, but that doesn't seem like it would be such a big deal, but it is, because it's a part of me. It's something that that's important to me. My smile, being able to connect with people, realizing it's back here, nobody can see it, but still. So something as simple as that, I'm actually in the process of, I just scheduled oral surgery on Monday. So Monday I'm going to be having a funeral for pieces of my tooth, or my whole, it cracked in half. So it's not that, it's not all over the place, but still, I'm going to have a funeral for my tooth. You know, maybe that'll help me feel better. I don't know, but that's loss. That's loss for me. So, you know, different things. I went through something called, I don't like to use the word parental alienation. I call it alienation, but it's like family bond obstruction. It's where a high conflict divorce and one parent kind of blocks the other parent through the children of seeing the children. Now, I've been through my healing work with that, and the challenge with healing from that particular thing is, losing a child who has died is awful. It is awful. And I can't even imagine what that would feel like. What I can say is that losing a child through something that is ridiculously not necessary is awful. The child is not dead, and you can't talk to them or see them. And so grieving that. So when my friend's ex-wife died and all that stuff was going on, and then I realized it was my mother's anniversary death date and all that was going on, I just started grieving everything. I started grieving the loss of my children because I hadn't been talking, or I didn't see them for a certain amount of time, and you know, it all just came up. And what I really want you to know is that it's not a bad thing. Actually, it's part of who we are as humans to grieve so we can move on with our lives, because if we don't, all those pent-up emotions of sadness and anger and guilt and fear and any of those things, they get stuck inside of us and we can't move forward. And by me coming online with you, I apologize for the shaking because I'm holding this phone, but by me coming online, this is proof to me that the grief work that I've done for myself with the support of people that love me has gotten me back on track in my life. And a lot of shifts, a lot of changes. I'm so grateful. And I welcome you and encourage you to take the opportunity to do your grief work, because the way you see me right now, back in, I want to say 1999, 2000, I was at the deepest, darkest of my depression. I was in what I think I mentioned earlier, a dark night of the soul. I couldn't even get off the floor. I was crying so hard. And now that I've walked through all these different things and recognized that it was the grief I needed to feel, the feelings of grief I needed to feel, that's what helped to shift me. So this is kind of like an intro. I am maybe doing, I think I might call it the Grief Chronicles, and just kind of walk through some things on how to do different types of things with grief for kids, for adults, maybe a daily thing here and a daily thing, or every other day here and there, maybe once a week, just to give, you know, some ideas on how to deal with grief. So anyway, if you have any questions or any comments, just drop them down below, and hopefully you have a beautiful day, and take care. Bye-bye.